Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Governor Andy Beshear begins the long campaigning trial to the November election. And the Kentucky Blood Center celebrates 55 years of saving lives and encourages Kentuckians to help keep the streak going.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6 o'clock on May 22nd. Now let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Now Brandon, we talked about that fog earlier. People need to be careful whenever they start to get out on the roads. It looks like it's still sticking around.
In some places, yes, but as we head to the north this morning, we're seeing a beautiful scene over Interstate 64 near Moorhead. You can see the sun on the way up, but a little patchy fog up there as well. Temperatures currently in the upper 40s, visibility's at 10 miles. But again, that's just at the airport down the road there, so be careful out there this morning. Lots of fog across the region. We are fogged in here at the WYMT studios. Temperatures out there in the 40s and 50s out there, so it is a chilly start to the day. We're going to continue to watch that chill for a little while longer, but once the sun tries to pop up there, we'll see those temperatures start to climb pretty quickly, and we should get into the 80-degree range a little bit later on this afternoon. I'll have the rest of that forecast, including maybe a spotty shower across parts of the region a little bit later this afternoon. Not enough to put a percentage on, but I'll show it to you on Future View here in just a little bit. Olivia?
Brandon, thank you. Governor Andy Beshear paid a visit to the Big Sandy region during a bus tour to kick off his re-election campaign. WYMT's Jordan Mullins talked with the governor in Pikeville to discuss the bus tour, his first term in office, and his goals for the Commonwealth.
On Tuesday, Governor Andy Beshear secured the Democratic nomination for governor, bringing in over 90% of the popular vote. Starting Friday, Beshear then took to the road, beginning a bus tour to kick off his campaign.
We have crisscrossed the Commonwealth these last 2 days. Enormous crowds full of energy, full of hope and optimism.
On Saturday, Beshear made a stop in Pikeville and spoke about his previous 4 years as governor, his accomplishments and hardships.
In these last 4 years, it's been pandemics, tornadoes, here in the east flooding that took everything from thousands of Kentuckians.
In response to the governor's tour, the Republican Party of Kentucky released a statement that questioned many of Beshear's decisions and his leadership, adding, quote, "No number of bus stops is going to make up for Andy's failed leadership."
They're hurling insults. They're trying to turn people against each other. They're trying to stoke division. We don't need that here in Kentucky. We're better than that, and we were raised better than that.
But Governor Beshear says he is focused on continuing his work.
Well, listen, you got to run for re-election to continue to serve. But let me be clear that I'm in this to continue the work for the people of Kentucky.
And working together for Eastern Kentucky and all of the Commonwealth. In Pikeville, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Governor Beshear's bus tour also made a stop in Lexington. West 6th Brewery in Lexington gave him a warm welcome. In his address to the public, Governor Beshear congratulated the state on what he says has been a successful 4 years under his leadership.
We have the largest rainy day fund in our history, which led to the first bond rating upgrade in 13 years, which, folks, means the pensions of every teacher, police officer, firefighter, social worker are safer than they've been in decades.
The governor was backed by Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman and his parents. Officials with Addiction Recovery Care say there has been a spike in overdose incidents in Laurel and Madison counties. They say it is unclear what substances are to blame for this. The Madison County coroner says he was not aware of any spike in the county. A Richmond couple owns St. John Recovery, and they say it's a part of their job to help.
No matter where you go, the drugs are not going anywhere. The war on drugs cannot be stopped. But us as community partners, individuals, you know, we have to do whatever to help the next individual that suffers with this disease.
The two also say they've been to the bottom, walked in other people's shoes, so they know how hard it is to overcome addiction. The Kentucky Blood Center is celebrating its 55th anniversary. In 1968, you could find the Kentucky Blood Center in the basement of the Pancake House on South Limestone. In 2023, you can find KBC in one of its 8 facilities across 6 counties. At the height of the pandemic, the Kentucky Blood Center struggled with donations. Now officials are asking people who stopped donating during that time to get back in the habit of it.
It's kind of a neat look back for us, and also we hope a kind of a reminder. It comes at a time when the pandemic is ending, and we hope it's a reminder to folks that, hey, the need for blood has never stopped, and it's bigger than ever, really. So we hope this motivates people to come out this week or later this summer.
And you can find the requirements to donate and learn more about the centers on its website, kybloodcenter.org. Armed Forces Days was observed during the weekend. It's a day set aside to honor all members of our nation's military. One family is feeling a sense of closure, more than 80 years after the attack on Pearl Harbor. As Kimberly Donahue shares how, thanks to an advancement in DNA testing, Donald McLeod can finally rest in peace.
It's been over 80 years since second-class Navy Fire Controlman Donald McLeod died in the attack on Pearl Harbor. The grief staying with his loved ones for decades without ever being able to lay him to rest. Saturday marked a turning point, a feeling of closure for generations of McLeod's relatives, friends, and first responders.
I've known just a few stories. I was always told that he went and he actually got his feet worked on so he could be in the military.
McLeod's relatives say the process of exhuming the remains of those killed in action started in 2015 by trying to match DNA with a veteran's oldest living relative. In McLeod's case, it was his nephew Fred, who matched in May 2021. He was just a toddler when his uncle was killed and only knew him as a memory.
I had never met Donald in my life. The first I remember after Pearl Harbor was born is being around the kitchen table, and the family was very upset about Pearl Harbor.
Though it's taken decades to bring McLeod home to West Virginia, his family tells me they believe his story of sacrifice and American pride can still teach many valuable lessons today.
He honestly made the ultimate sacrifice that a person could have for our freedom. And I'm just really happy that he's home where he belongs.
It's so unfortunate that Pearl Harbor happened, but as evidenced by the crowd here today, it's amazing. Friendship goes a long ways, and with our family and everything, we certainly appreciate everything that everyone has done. The Navy, with their persistence and following through with my DNA, they have located a good portion of the remains of Donald Robert McLeod. We certainly appreciate the efforts of the Navy in getting him located here.
Kimberly Donahue, WSAZ, News Channel 3, Logan County.
McLeod was later buried at the McLeod Family Cemetery next to his parents. His family received a flag flown over the U.S. Capitol from Senator Joe Manchin's office, as well as special recognition from Governor Jim Justice.
6:09 here on this Monday morning. We take a look at the Mountain Parkway near the Wolf-Powell County line, close to Slade. And not much traffic up there this morning, but not much sunshine just yet. We've seen the sun coming up over I-64 a few minutes ago, and we're seeing some cool temperatures out there this morning. 44 in Clintwood and Irvin, the cold spots. 56 in Monticello, the warm spot. But again, not very warm out there at all this morning, so continue to be careful as you head to the first part of the day. Lots of fog out there in some areas, so take it easy with that one as well. Up to about 80 for a daytime high this afternoon. Few clouds mixing back in and forth with your sunshine today, and we'll see maybe a sprinkle there as we head deeper the afternoon. Not anything too widespread, and 99% of the region will not see it. So that's why there's on a percentage on that 7-day forecast that we'll show you here in just a few minutes. Olivia?
Thank you, Brandon, and thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, leaders in Uvalde, Texas prepare to hold a news conference as the community faces the struggle of dealing with the one-year anniversary of a tragic school shooting.